What's pissing me off this week? The TSA, the Transportation Security Administration. Don't be an idiot. Whatever happened to common sense in this world? Recently, at an airport security checkpoint, a cop and his family were trying to travel to Disney World. And you might say, what's the problem with that? And I'll tell you what the problem with that is. They have a 4-year-old boy who required leg braces to walk. As I'm sure you can already imagine, it went clean and smooth when they got to the airport security checkpoint. Wait, that's not right! The TSA agents actually insisted that the little boy, 4 years old, only been walking for a couple months, remove his leg braces which he needed for walking, and was the son of a police officer, so that he could walk through the metal detector alone! That way, making almost sure the fact that he would fall and embarrass himself in front of all the people waiting in line behind him. Way to go, TSA! I've had a couple of people write in and ask me to talk about healthcare reform. And it's a really big topic which I cannot cover in one video, so I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. In this first week, I'm going to talk about why we should do healthcare reform. My first point for why we need healthcare reform is a pretty big statistic that I don't think a lot of people know about. In the United States, the biggest reason for personal bankruptcy is medical expenses. That's to say your medical bills are the #1 reason that people file for personal bankruptcy. And you're going to say, Mr. Economist, but that only affects the person who files bankruptcy. And why should I think of that as a reason for why we need healthcare reform? It doesn't affect me. Don't be an idiot! When someone files for bankruptcy, it hurts more than just that person. Each bankruptcy filing hurts everyone. One reason being that it uses up government resources, which could have been spent on something more valuable. The government spends time and money figuring out which creditors are going to get paid and which aren't, and how the resources get split up. The second and even bigger reason is the fact that the people who are losing in the bankruptcy filing are the creditors. They lose that income they would have made from the person who filed bankruptcy, and they have to recover that loss some way. And how do they do that? By raising the rates on the people who do pay, which is everybody else. So yes, when someone files bankruptcy, it hurts everyone. And because that is such a large portion of the bankruptcy filings in the US, it hurts everyone a lot. So we definitely need healthcare reform for at least those 2 reasons alone. A lot of times when the healthcare debate comes up, people like to bring up the question, do we as people have the fundamental right to healthcare? One of the arguments against that idea is to say, just because we can do something doesn't mean we should. I mean, look at Jurassic Park. We all know how that turned out. And another argument against that idea is to say, the open market system, or the free market, handles these situations the best, and we should just trust that it's doing it correctly, or leave it to it. And I'm an economist, so that's what I would say, right? But on the flip side, you gotta say, every life is precious, and how can we really put a value on a human life? What about children? They don't get to pick who their parents are and what family they're born into. Why do we say that a child who's born of a celebrity couple has more rights to live than that child born of a poor and impoverished couple? My economic tip for the week is cell phone plans. And yeah, buy whatever cell phone you want, but do a good job of researching which cell phone plan you get. And I'm just saying that because of text messages and internet surfing. A lot of text messages charge 10 cents a message. Now, if you do a lot of text messaging, you are getting ripped off really badly. Now, if you only send a few every week or so, that's not as big a deal. But you got to realize that the cell phone service providers, it only costs them about less than a tenth of a cent, really, to provide you with that text message. It's really important that you tailor your cell phone plan to match the amount of usage that you're going to be needing it for. And the same applies for internet. Anytime you're surfing the internet on your phone, it's really important that you tailor your plan to meet what you use it for. Because if you don't, you're going to get charged way on the back end for going over your standard usage. Links to the comments I talked about are over here. You can follow me on Twitter, rate, comment, and subscribe. Don't be an idiot!